I never imagined that a single night could change the course of my life entirely. I was sitting in a cold, gray cell, counting the bars that separated me from freedom, replaying every bad decision that had landed me there. Crime had promised quick money, fast respect, and an illusion of power. But in reality, it delivered only loneliness, regret, and the clanging reminder of every mistake I had made. Life behind bars was monotonous, brutal, and isolating. But in that harsh reality, I began to see clearly. I saw the limits of desperation, the consequences of pride, and the rare moments of kindness that reminded me I was still human. I started reading anything I could get my hands on. Books on business, psychology, and self-improvement. I wrote down ideas, plans, and strategies, little sparks of hope that kept me awake longer than any fear of the guards or the cold metal bars. And then she arrived. Her name was Lily. She wasn't a visitor, a lawyer, or anyone who should have been in my life at that moment. She was a volunteer from an outreach program, tasked with mentoring inmates, helping us plan for life after release. I'll admit at first I was suspicious. Kindness had been foreign to me for years. But there was something in her eyes, an unwavering belief that people could change, that made me pause. We started with small conversations about goals, dreams, and the outside world. She spoke about life like it was a puzzle waiting to be solved, not a trap we had to endure. Slowly, over months, those conversations became the most important part of my day. I began to care, not just for the advice she offered, but for her. Her laughter echoed in my mind long after she left, and I found myself imagining a future I hadn't dared to dream before. When my release finally came, it was terrifying and exhilarating all at once. The world outside had moved on, but I had changed more than I realized. I had a plan, a small sum of money saved from prison work, and the determination to build something real. I started small, a cleaning business, servicing offices during odd hours. Every penny was reinvested, every mistake a lesson. The growth was slow but steady. I faced skepticism, prejudice, and countless doors slammed in my face. People saw a former convict and assumed I was nothing more than a risk, a failure, a story that ended badly. But I kept going. Years passed. That small business expanded into a chain of services. Investments followed. A network of trustworthy partners grew around me. Slowly, my bank account began to reflect the person I had become, not the one I once was. I was a millionaire, but more importantly, I was free. Not just from prison bars, but from the limitations I had once placed on myself. And then I saw her again. It was at a charity event I was sponsoring. Lily, still radiant, still warm, walked into the room. She looked older, more refined, but the light in her eyes hadn't faded. Our eyes met across the hall, and for a moment, it felt like the years melted away. She had believed in me when almost no one else did, and I hadn't forgotten. I approached her, and she smiled, that same smile that had guided me through my darkest days. "I see you've done well," she said softly. "I've done more than that," I replied. "I've changed. And it's because someone once refused to give up on me." We talked all night, sharing stories, laughter, and the small, intimate truths that only time apart can make clearer. There was no awkwardness, no hesitation, just understanding. She had seen the worst in me and chosen to see potential instead. Now she was seeing the life I had built, not just for wealth, but for freedom, dignity, and purpose. It didn't take long for us to realize that the bond we had formed behind prison walls had grown into something stronger, something that neither wealth nor social status could have fabricated. She had my past. I had her belief. Together we had a future. Love and success didn't come easy. They never do. But in the quiet moments, walking through my office, watching the city from my penthouse balcony, laughing over simple dinners, I understood that this journey from prison bars to a millionaire's heart wasn't just about money or romance. It was about transformation, redemption, and the rare courage to believe in someone, even when the world refused to. I had once been a man everyone thought lost, a cautionary tale. Now I was proof that change is possible, and love is stronger when it grows in the soil of second chances. And as she held my hand that night, the city lights shimmering below us, I realized that the hardest battles sometimes lead to the most extraordinary victories. From prison bars to a millionaire's heart, life had given me everything I had once thought impossible.